name is Scott Butler. I'm going to be doing a question of fact, persuasive speech. My speech is on the BCS championship game and the road to get there. We'll also be discussing later on in the video the Heisman race and the two front runners. First off, we're going to start out with Oklahoma State and Alabama's football schedule. As you know, right now LSU is ranked first, Alabama is ranked second, and Oklahoma State is ranked third. And that's the kind of predicament we're in right now, is for going to the BCS championship game, is the second and third ranked players are neck and neck in computer rankings right now. Alabama right now is 11-1. They're 7-1 in SEC standings, and they played 5 teams out of the top 25, and they're 4-1 when playing out of the top 25 teams. The only loss they've had is to number 1 LSU team at Bryant-Denny. They lost 9-6 in double overtime. LSU right now, they're 12-0. They're locked to go to the BCS championship game, which is on December 9th. And Alabama did not go to the SEC championship game, unlike LSU. LSU played Georgia in the SEC championship game yesterday. And right now, the kind of predicament we're in is Alabama didn't play in the SEC championship game, while Oklahoma State did play in the Big 12 championship game. The strength of the schedule, ESPN has Alabama in the top 3. I would think they're second or first. The number 1 is LSU's schedule, and that's the only real team other than Alabama that's in the top 5 with toughest schedules. Alabama's top player is Trent Richardson. He has 1,583 yards. He has 6 yards per carry, and he's just dominant whenever he's got the football. Oklahoma State, they're 11-1. They're 8-1 in Big 12 play, and they played 4 top 25 teams. And while playing top 25 teams, they're 4-0. The biggest win was Oklahoma. That was a 10th ranked Oklahoma they played yesterday, and Oklahoma State was ranked 3rd. They beat them 44-10, and after the second half, they were neck and neck, but they blew them away after the second half. They lost 2 weeks ago to Iowa State, a 37-31 upset, and that pretty much put Oklahoma State in kind of a BCS landslide, because Alabama was ranked 4th, and Stanford was ranked 3rd, and Oklahoma State was ranked 2nd. And during that week, Oklahoma State and Stanford both lost, putting Alabama at number 2 and putting Oklahoma State at number 3. The day that Oklahoma State lost to Iowa State, Oklahoma State lost a women's basketball coach. Some of the football players were close to her, and they actually had a priest come to the football game, to kind of support some of the football players in their recent loss. Brandon Weeden is their quarterback, and he was out for the Heisman. He was one of the top 3 Heisman candidates, right there with Trent Richardson and Andrew Luck at the start of the season. After the Iowa State game, it kind of knocked him out because of the loss, because he had a interception to actually make them lose in double overtime. Brandon Weeden, he's 26 years old, used to be a New York Yankee, and he's coming back to Oklahoma State to play some little football. Right now, we're going to be getting into what if Alabama were to play LSU in the BCS championship game, and we're also going to be talking about if Oklahoma State were to play LSU in the BCS championship game. Everybody in the SEC really wants a rematch. They don't want to see a Big 12 team play the LSU Tigers. They'd like to see Alabama Crimson Tide play them. For Alabama to beat LSU, Trent Richardson would have to be a factor first off. He's dominating whenever he's up front. He's got the football in his hands. Alabama's defense, they're one of the top 2 in the country. They show up every game. A.J. McCarron would have to show up as well to get the passing attack, so Trent could run the football. LSU has 2 stout quarterbacks. One's a passing quarterback, and the other one's a scrambler. They use both of those for the different kinds of offenses they have. LSU also has 4 good running backs, and that's really what's going to hurt whatever team they play in the fourth quarter. defensive linemen because of the fact that they have 4 good fresh running backs and they can use them all game. LSU also has an excellent defense. They're ranked in the top 2 in the country, just like Alabama. They're neck and neck. Tyrann Mathieu, he's a strong safety that LSU has, and he's one of the top in the country. He's one of the best players. He's also a punt and kick returner as well. He's probably going to be going to the NFL draft next year. If LSU and Oklahoma State played, LSU first off would dominate. I think that LSU would not even stand a chance for Oklahoma State's defense. Oklahoma State has no defense whatsoever. Brandon Weeden is Oklahoma State's best player, and he would have to show up to the football game for them to even have a chance, and also for them to be a good football team in that game. Jay Randall would have to show up, and that's their star running back. He's had over 200 carries this season with over 1,000 yards, and he would be a big factor if he had a good day. We're going to be talking about the Heisman now. Trent Richardson and Andrew Luck, as I told you earlier. Brandon Weeden is no longer in the race. Right now we have Trent Richardson's number 1 and Andrew Luck is number 2. Andrew Luck, after Stanford's loss 2 weeks ago, Andrew Luck was first place. But after their loss 2 weeks ago, Andrew Luck got down to second. And after the big finish that Trent Richardson had during the Auburn football game, he had over 200 rushing yards, really put him at number 1. That will be the end of my speech, and thank you.